on NBC 16 News at 6:30, a right-wing patriot prayer group and counter-protesters are standing their ground in Portland today. Plus, details on LeBron James's recent achievements and how he is shaking up White House opinion from the president and First Lady Melania Trump. And Ellen Minnie joining us with a weather forecast with details to see if we'll be staying in the 80s or looking at higher temperatures.
Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 6:30.
New tonight, police are using non-lethal riot control methods to control a crowd of hundreds of protesters gathered in downtown Portland right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NBC 16 at 6:30. Filling in, I'm Alexis Thrower. A giant crowd of people from several opposing political groups, including right-wing Patriot Prayer and Antifa, faced off on today again in a protest that started at Tom McCall Waterfront Park. The two groups came face-to-face on a major roadway where police tried to keep them separated.
I want to make something very clear. When we march, we're not here to beat people up. We're not here to fight. But you have a God-given right to protect yourself if this mayor refuses to protect your constitutional right to be here in Portland.
When protesters refused police orders to get out of the street, officers fired rubber bullets and used flashbangs to control the crowd. You're starting to see them more and more on the highways, and it's a new look for the Oregon State Police. Phasing out with the navy blue colors of the OSP patrol cars, the new look is silver. Lieutenant Vaughn Schleicher says the change is happening to save money and make their vehicles more visible at night. Schleicher adds the navy blue logos look required more cost for the paint jobs. This is a stock silver color from the factory.
And so as our patrol vehicles that are blue in color, mileage out, and in their life of service with the state police, they're going to be replaced by silver patrol vehicles. And that's going to be, you're going to start seeing more and more of those as we mileage out patrol vehicles.
Fish and Wildlife Patrol pickups are also switching over to the silver format. Lieutenant Schleicher says he has two of the new cars in his fleet, but they are assigned mostly to Florence and Oak Ridge. New concerns and threats as crews continue to battle the more than a dozen wildfires burning in California. This weekend, more people are being told to evacuate, and windy conditions are making the battle to stop the flames more difficult. Kim Hutchinson has a closer look at the growing threat across the Golden State.
An intensifying firefight with no end in sight. And this weekend, it could get much worse.
With northern winds, it will try and expand the fire.
Firefighters battling 17 large wildfires still burning across California, now bracing for stronger windy conditions.
A lot of our focus is on the southern edge today to make sure we don't get that fire blowing through our line.
Possible 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts combined with bone-dry conditions and high heat could fan the flames even further. That dangerous mix is forcing officials to issue a new round of evacuations. Near the Mendocino complex fires, only voluntary evacuations had been in place. But the threat is now so large that officials are telling people in those areas to get out immediately.
All my belongings and everything are there. I have all the animals with me, but it's just sad.
Red flag warnings are in effect for several parts of Northern California, including Redding, where the car fire is still burning out of control. On Saturday, the governor toured that charred area.
This fire was different than any other fire, and the fire next year or next month, that'll be different too. So we have to learn as we go.
Meanwhile, near Yosemite, the 3-week-old Ferguson fire is also triggering new evacuation orders. Crews are concerned that wind could continue driving the flames toward Yosemite National Park.
This is a long process. Firefighters are working hard to contain that fire, to continue building their box around it.
I'm Kim Hutchinson reporting.
Yosemite National Park was scheduled to reopen today, but now it's unclear whether that's still going to happen. A follow-up to the South Valley fire in Dufur, Oregon, about 100 miles south of Portland. While firefighters are still working to completely contain the fire, the Oregon Fire Marshal has stated 11 structures have been destroyed and 172 structures threatened. At a community meeting held last night, the Oregon Department of Forestry Incident Commander Chris Klein stated, "We're not out of this yet, but this thing is really coming together. We are starting to see real progress in most of the fire area." President Trump blasted LeBron James with a tweet after the NBA star said the president is trying to divide America. Earlier this week, James told CNN anchor Don Lemon that Trump was using sports to try to divide the country and that he would never sit down with Trump, but he would with former President Barack Obama. So Friday night, Trump fired off this tweet saying LeBron James was just interviewed by the dumbest man on television, Don Lemon. He made LeBron look smart, which isn't easy. I like Mike, an apparent reference to NBA legend Michael Jordan. The tweet came in advance of an election rally today in Ohio, James's home state. James' interview on CNN took place after he announced he was creating an elementary school to support at-risk children in his hometown of Akron, where he donated millions of dollars to help provide free tuition, uniforms, and meals for students. While Trump stands firm on his views regarding LeBron, First Lady Melania Trump is praising the NBA star for his charity work. Today, a spokeswoman for the First Lady said it looks like LeBron James is working to do good things on behalf of our next generation. She also added the First Lady encourages everyone to have an open dialogue about issues facing children today. Mrs. Trump said she would be open to visiting the school. Football season is around the corner, and today the Oregon football program held its annual Fan Day event. Hundreds lined up outside Moshovsky Center this afternoon for a chance to meet their favorite player. Members of both the offense and defense were on hand to sign autographs. Fans were also able to enjoy an inflatable obstacle course, giant slide, bounce house, and more.
This is a first-time Fan Day for us. Seemed like a good opportunity to take a look at Autzen, enjoy the players, kind of get pepped up for the football season.
The Oregon Ducks football season kicks off the first week of September. On to your first look at weather. NBC 16's Ellen Minnie joins us. Ellen.
Good evening, everyone. Well, we had a beautiful sunny Saturday, and Sunday's pretty much going to be the same thing. The only difference is that as we get into the evening, that smoke and haze we've been talking about all week long finally moves in. Here's a look at your power planner for tomorrow. High of 86 degrees, right around 5 p.m. or so. A few clouds here and there, but for the most part, just a really great day outside. Unfortunately, though, once we get past 5 p.m., we do start to see smoke and haze traveling into the Willamette Valley as well as the Umpqua Valley. It's not going to be particularly bad smoke and haze like what we saw last year, but it's definitely going to be there. And it's going to continue to be there throughout the week. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast, you can see Monday through Friday, those clouds that I have right there, that's a representation of the smoke and haze that's coming on in. We also see a heat wave as well. So yeah, Eugene, Springfield, we're going to get up to like 97 degrees on Thursday. So it's a full work week of heat, but thankfully it does start to cool off again as we get into Saturday, so we don't have to deal with that smoke, haze, and heat forever. I'll tell you more about what you can expect in my full forecast coming up soon.
Spain's Sant Boi is famous for two things: its rich artistic heritage and the long history associated with the mental health hospital, which sits at the heart of the town. The hospital, founded in 1855, has continued to form part of Sant Boi's identity and the way in which people view the town, with many referring to it as the town of the loonies, as one artist tells CNN. In an attempt to change the perception, 40 young people from across Europe have joined forces to create a mural to challenge the taboos around mental health. CNN brings you the story.
Estamos aquí pues pintando el muro para hacer historia e intentar conseguir que Sant Boi cambie y sobre todo la forma de verse Sant Boi.
So we were asked to do two things, and I think we're doing them. One is to work on the hospital and the town being more integrated, and I think the mural will do this. The second thing we were asked to do is talk about mental health taboos.
Cuando tú estás fuera de Sant Boi, por ejemplo en Barcelona, y te preguntan ¿de dónde eres? Y dices de Sant Boi. Ah, el pueblo de los locos. Pues es algo que nosotros queremos cambiar, ¿no? No quiere decir nada que haya un hospital aquí con que sea un pueblo de locos. A la conclusión que hemos llegado para crear era esta temática de alfombras, donde se asoma media alfombra por una parte del muro y la otra se asomará por la otra parte del muro. Entonces es algo que crea una pregunta de qué pasa, ¿no? Hay algo que puede que se asome por la otra parte, ¿no? Entonces invita a los vecinos a entrar al hospital.
It's helping to integrate because it's sort of inviting people in through the curiosity of seeing what's on the other side.
Ever since the group of artists, young artists arrived here, we had a really big participation from the residents of the hospital as well. And it was all so natural. It was really lovely to see how everybody blended in.
Estaba un chico que venía de un colectivo con discapacidad intelectual y estuvo pintando con una chica un buen rato, 1 hora y media, 2 horas pintando. Y al cabo de un rato el chico le pregunta a la chica, ¿tú tienes algún tipo de discapacidad? La chica dice, no. Yo digo, bueno, no, que sepas, ¿no? De momento nos reímos y fue la máxima naturalidad. En ese momento era nada importante que él tuviera una discapacidad. Estábamos pintando juntos. Y esto es muy bonito. De hecho, esto es lo que rompe los tabús.
Join us tonight at 11 as we share more details on mental health as doctors are using a common date rape drug to treat suicidal patients. Coming up next on NBC 16 News at 6:30, if you have a knack for science, stay tuned for details on the newest renovation at the Eugene Science Center. But first, here's a preview of tomorrow's Full Measure.
This week on Full Measure.
You don't have a right to take our photos.
Snowflake is a nefarious nickname given to an easily offended generation. We go to college campuses to find out if the term is warranted. Plus, cutting checks to the dearly departed. Our government is paying the dead, and it's costing you money. Those stories and more this week on Full Measure.
You're watching NBC 16 News at 6:30.
Welcome back. Today, the public was invited to join the Eugene Science Center as the facility takes a giant leap towards an ultra-modern planetarium renovation. The planetarium is now home to a state-of-the-art 4K resolution projection system, and the center was having some deals today to invite the public to check it out. They called it the Ready, Set, Relaunch celebration to introduce the new digital projection system. The new projectors were bought with funds from the community that were matched by Oregon Community Foundation. The director says the projector makes all the difference to the learning experience.
For example, I've seen those shows a lot, and watching them on our new equipment for the first time was like seeing them like I'd never seen them before. So very vivid colors, incredible brightness of the detail really stands out, which is fantastic.
During the summer, shows are at the planetarium being screened every day, but they're also playing on the weekends this fall. You can visit the center's website for the full schedule. Coming up next on NBC 16 News at 6:30, we'll have your full weather forecast with Ellen Minnie. Stay tuned.